Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I love you all. My name is MiAh the King, and want to hear a funny little tidbit? Chainsaws were first developed to help with difficult childbirth. I know, right? Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and I hope you stick around. If not for the funny jokes and tidbits at the start of each video, then perhaps because I can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. Stick around and let me prove it. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called The Precinct, a top-down cop RPG simulator game that I have been very anxiously waiting for and super happy it finally released. Developed by Fallen Tree Games Ltd. and published by Quali, released not in early access and selling for $30. And I gotta say, this title screen is still kind of depressing, not gonna lie. It's the first thing players see when they get into your game, and it needs to be like that, like at the cover of a book, you know what I mean? It needs to be engaging and ambitious, it needs to get your attention, you know, to just really get people hyped for what they're about to enter into. I mean, look at Alien's Dark Descent title screen opener, now that was hype. But anyway, enough about that. What even is this game anyway? Well, you play as Nick Cordell Jr., whose father, Nick Cordell Sr., used to be the chief and was shot down mercilessly by gang members. Inspired by your father, you joined the force, was the best at the academy, and now, along with your regular duties, are out there trying to locate clues that might lead to who killed him, how, and why. As for the rest of the story, well, it's your stereotypical cop drama show. If you've ever seen a cop show in your life, then this plays right into the exact same tropes and cliches, right down to even the names of most of the cops surrounding you. But now, as always, let's dive into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts, shall we? The first positive point I want to talk about was the sound design. The sound effects, music, and yes, even voice acting was all really well done. But let's break it down one by one in a timely manner for y'all who don't got much time to watch. Basically, the sound effects sound realistic and thematic no matter what you're doing, and the game has plenty of ambiance to actually make you feel like you're smack dab in the middle of a city, which was a nice touch. The voice acting may not be the best I've ever heard, but it's good enough to pass, and everyone has a voice, so that's a nice touch as well. And then the music, it's thematic and fits the theme of old 90s cop shows perfectly. Next up for the positives is the graphics. Now, it's not the best looking game I've ever seen, but it's not bad either. On the spectrum, I'd say it's hovering between average and perfect, so it's not bad, you could even say it's great. There could be some better sharpness and detail, but for what is there, it's pretty good. There is still a lot of detail despite what I previously just said, still a lot of contrast, good color choices, and I could keep going, but overall, the game really looked good whilst playing, and I don't really have any complaints about it. Could have been a little bit better, but not bad. Not bad at all. The next positive point I'd like to talk about is the gameplay. Now, the gameplay here is really good. Not perfect, but really good. I'm going to go ahead and say they kind of missed out on a primo opportunity here, though. There's no slice of life instances in the game. Everyone knows that cops go out to a cop bar after their shift, or that they have troubles at home, or that they like eating donuts, or dealing with other personal problems, but in this game, it's just do your shift, and then end your shift, and loading screen into a new day, and do another shift. I wish they had added some more personalized off-duty stuff to really help the player immerse themselves and feel like a cop, and hell, being an off-duty cop who either chooses to keep the peace or not would have been a fun aspect of gameplay. So it is a bit of a missed opportunity, but let's carry on. In this game, you got the three different modes of play, basically: the walking around patrol, the driving in a car patrol, and the flying a helicopter patrol. All pretty seamless and easygoing with fairly obvious gameplay components, so it's not too hard to get into the swing of things, no matter what you're doing. You can arrest people who commit offenses in a fairly in-depth but not overly complicated arresting system of checking IDs, searching for contraband, arresting and escorting them back to the office, or calling for an escort so you don't have to waste your time, which honestly, that's probably just what you're going to do every time, because otherwise you got to keep going back and forth to the station, so you're just going to end up calling an escort every time. I don't even know why they have the other option in there. Listing out the offenses they committed, letting them go, giving them a fine, or just straight up arresting them depending on the crime committed or how they reacted to it. There's a shootouts, car chases, drug deals, and even dialogue options in some conversations. There's a skill tree, and as you progress in levels, you can unlock higher tier gear to help you on your adventure, or unlock newer skills to help you out. And overall, there's a flow to this game similar to other progressive games I wasn't expecting. For instance, you're trying to take down a gang, but you need more evidence. As you go on your patrol sector and do your job, you'll find random pieces of evidence here and there, and once you get enough, you take it back to the station, and once you've collected enough for this person or whatever, you can go do a raid and arrest an officer of the gang, and then you gotta do it all over again for the sub-boss, and then arrest the sub-boss, and then you gotta do it all over again to eventually get the gang leader to eventually finally take down that whole gang. There's a lot of depth and a lot of things to do here, and the best part is when you're out and about doing your regular job, it doesn't feel like a chore. It actually feels fun because you never know what's going to happen. A mugger I approached suddenly hijacked a car and it turned into a shootout. A guy who was littering suddenly became violent and I had to tase him 37 times. A random guy on the street, another war criminal litterer, just gave up willy-nilly but had an illegal firearm and illegal, well, everything on his person. Is the crazy stuff you'll see and experience, and I was enjoying every minute of it. I need to end it here, but basically the gameplay was intense, addictive, immersive, intuitive, interesting, and other I words, but overall enjoyable. Next up for the positives is the price tag. I mean, they could have easily charged $40 for this game with the level of graphical design, voice actors, and other sound quality, as well as writing and all the other good stuff here, which I would have been fine with actually, but they didn't. They charged $30, which I feel is a perfect price tag for this game. I was honestly expecting the game to either be a lot smaller with a lot less depth or a lot less dedication to it, but after playing it, I can't dismiss the affordable price tag for the experience that you're getting here. But unfortunately, that's all I gotta say for the positives. And up next, I gotta go into the negatives. But before that, do me a favor, and if you're enjoying the video or at least finding it informative, consider subscribing to my channel and joining my Royal Guard. I'm trying really hard to get to 5,000 subs, and I'm almost there. And while it might not seem like a lot to most people, it does to me. It's a big milestone for me, and I'd really appreciate it if you could help me get there. Also, I do these videos, and I started this channel so I could try to help people out there save money and probably help the gaming community. At least that's what I intended when I first started. But it doesn't really work if I can't get to you first. So you gotta hit that notification button, that bell down there, and be informed whenever I put out new content. It's still a bell, right? I don't know. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to the negatives. And the first negative point for me was the stability. Now, it wasn't that bad, but it did have a few issues. The first one was sound glitches and random static during many conversations or throughout my gameplay. Now, it wasn't the worst, and it wasn't everywhere, and it wasn't super abrasive, but when it was present, it was pretty damn distracting and a little harmful to my earlobes. And then you've got the random clipping through things left and right. I've clipped through NPCs, walls, streets, gates, and more. Luckily, he always got out of it, but man, it was scary a few times. It needs a bit tidying up, but it wasn't game-breaking yet, so at least there's that. And last but not least for the negatives was the mechanics and the overall flow of the game. The user interface wasn't the best, not awful, but not great, and at times slightly confusing. I don't consider this a big thing because it's one of those where if you've played long enough, you'll get used to it, but still. Anyway, the AI for the NPC is just awful. I've seen some things, man. I've seen some things. Cars randomly running into you or each other for no reason. NPCs doing really dumb things like driving in circles during a hot pursuit. I could keep going. As for the mechanics, they're not too bad, I guess, but it really starts to get frustrating during two distinct moments of the gameplay. The first is the car. I hate how it controls because despite weather, despite time of day, despite anything, the car constantly feels like you're driving on ice. You slip and slide literally everywhere no matter what speed you're going, and makes driving the car around a nightmare. And then you've got the firefights. Whenever you're in a shootout, if you pop your head out from cover to fire, all the enemies will zone in on you at once with pixel-perfect accuracy and take your health from full to 1% in literal milliseconds. And the aiming is a bit off too. Despite my mouse being directly on them with a clear line of fire, I still won't hit them sometimes, yet they've got perfect accuracy. So it's a bit redonkulous to deal with and could use some polishing as well. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for the good and the bad. What are my final thoughts? Well, I think overall this is a pretty damn good game. Now, don't go into it expecting some kind of in-depth role-playing game though. You can't create your character or even make a lot of choices, if any. I don't remember any choices I was allowed to make. This is a story-driven linear game with mild exploration and freedom. Hints of false freedom. You don't actually have freedom because even when you're doing the job, you have to stay in your little zone. But let's not kid ourselves. It's not even as open as, say, Grand Theft Auto. However, for what it is and for what it's asking for and for what it provides for what it's asking for, it's a pretty damn good game. Even the negatives I listed weren't really that bad and didn't sour the game for me in any way. I'm trying to downplay it, but honestly, I was really enjoying the game and having a lot of fun with it. It might not have been as massive as I was expecting it to be, but it was still really good. So yes, I obviously recommend. If this game looks like something you might even be only moderately interested in, I'd still recommend giving it a shot. I mean, it was fun, it's well designed, it's cohesive, intuitive, it's interesting, and overall with great quality, and of course, worth its asking price. You won't be getting ripped off today, ladies and gents. So yes, go buy it and enjoy. But that's all the time I got for today. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.